Hi, my name is Matthew Smith. I'm running for state representative, and today I want to talk to you about Rfra, or the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. It all started with a Supreme Court case in 1990 called the Employment Division versus Smith. What happened was there were two men from Oregon who were Native Americans that got fired from their drug rehabilitation center jobs because they got a drug test and what they found in it was mescaline, a main ingredient in peyote. The Supreme Court found that their religious freedom didn't apply in this case because peyote is illegal for everybody. And people were pretty upset about it. They said, why should it be illegal for a Native American to smoke peyote? That's part of their religion. It's a sincerely held religious belief they have. And so what happened was the Congress, on a pretty bipartisan basis, passed the Religious Freedom and Restoration Act, and Bill Clinton signed it. What that did was it reinstated something called the Sherbert test. You can read up on it yourself, just Google it, or we'll have a link below, some more information about it. But in a nutshell, what it basically said was that if you have a sincerely held religious belief and the government is trying to get you to stop that, then they can't. There's one big exception to this, and it's the 1964 Civil Rights Act. It protects people based on things like their race, their religion, their color, their age, their national origin, or their ancestry. And Indiana, like every other state, passed their own Civil Rights Act. In Indiana, it's called Indiana Code 22-9. So what that means is if you own a business and you want to deny somebody a service because you don't like what color skin they have, well, too bad. Then in 1997 came an obstacle to the federal Rfra, and that was a case called Bernie versus Flores. So what basically happened here is that a church wanted to expand, and the city of Bernie, Texas told them they couldn't because the church that they have was marked as historical. The church sued, saying that telling them they can't expand their church is a violation of their religious freedom. And the Supreme Court said, well, the federal Rfra, that really only applies if the federal government is trying to step between you and your religious freedom. And it's not really so much if the state or the county wants to step in between you and your religious freedom. And everyone said, and rightfully, well, that's wrong. You shouldn't be able to do that. So the states started passing their own Rfra laws, and everything kind of died down for a while, until a little over a decade later, Arizona decided they wanted to pass their own Rfra law, but with a few slight tweaks. Now we'll get to those tweaks in a minute. Everybody lost their minds over this, and Arizona almost lost the 2014 Super Bowl because of it. Opponents pointed out that in Arizona, just like in Indiana, their Civil Rights Act didn't protect sexual orientation or gender identity. And they said that the aim of the law was just to override city ordinances that outlaw discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. And supporters of it said, yeah, pretty much, that's why we're doing this. Based on the threats of the business community, the Arizona governor said, I'm going to veto this. Then the very next year, with a shining example like Arizona, Indiana decided, hey, we're going to do this too. And like in Arizona, everybody lost their mind over it. Governor Pence went out to try and defend the law. Now, here's where we talk about those tweaks that they made. Governor Pence said that this was the same as the federal law. He was wrong. Specifically in Section 7, it defines a person not like you or I, but it also includes the coffee shop down the street, and the church you might go to, or the bank that you have an account at. He also said that this law only applies when the government is trying to get between you and your religious freedom. On that, he was also wrong. Section 9 says that the law applies regardless of whether the state or governmental entity is party to the proceeding. Again, you can read it all in the links below. So after the PR campaign didn't work and everybody in the business community went nuts, the governor decided there needed to be a fix for this. The fix basically said that Rfra wasn't meant to defend anyone who discriminates against other people. So now everything's fine, right? Well, not exactly. If you live in a city that doesn't have an ordinance protecting people based on their sexual orientation or gender identity from discrimination, then right now signs like this are completely legal. Greenwood is one of these cities, and right now if you're a business owner, you can put this sign up in your shop and it's perfectly legal. There's nothing anybody can do about it. If you go north of county line though, it's a different story. So what do I want to do about it? I want to add sexual orientation and gender identity as protected classes in Indiana Code 22-9. That would make a sign like this just as illegal as signs like these. Now people have asked, wouldn't this make it illegal for a Jewish baker to refuse making a swastika cake for a Nazi? Or make it illegal for a black tailor to refuse service to somebody who brings in a Klan robe? Well, no. Say you're a baker who makes rainbow cookies, and I bring in my 1-year-old daughter and I say, I'd like some rainbow cookies, please. And you say, okay, here you go, that's fine. And then a gay person walks in behind me and says, oh, hey, those would be great at our Pride rally. If you deny them the service, it's not the product you find offensive, it's the person, and that is discrimination. No one can make a business owner provide something that they find offensive. But they can, and I think should, make business owners provide their services equally to everyone. Opponents of this change say that it's your religious freedom to deny somebody a public accommodation like food or housing because you don't like their gender identity or sexual orientation. To people who believe that, I think you should vote for Woody Burton because he's made it perfectly clear that that's what he believes also. Well, thanks for listening. This is the first, hopefully, of many videos that we make describing where I stand on some things. So click subscribe, and I'll see you next time.